I'm not too sure how long this tank's been set up now. It's probably a fair few weeks. This chair is really creaky. I don't have anything else. Hang on. Hey everyone, Fish Shop Matt here. So I was actually just at home, chilling, sat on the sofa with the doggos, chilling. And I looked over and saw the rare Tetra tank, and I realised that because it's not in the shop, MD hasn't done an update on it, because I guess I've got to invite him to my house for him to do an update on it. So I thought, well, I'll do an update on it quickly. So it's like, I don't even know what time at night. Boy's gone to bed. Let's check out and see what I've done to the rare Tetra tank since you all last saw it. Ha! Knew the birthing ball would come in handy. Nice. So, I'll get used to this now. Where was I? So yeah, the tank. It's been set up for a little while now. Fish have grown really, really well. Plants have grown in really, really well. The kettle's doing an amazing job at keeping everything lush and green. I've hardly dosed any fertiliser. I had a little sample bottle of, I can't remember whose fertiliser, but yeah, had a little sample bottle that I got from work. That's gone in. That was the first few days. But other than that, there's been no other fertilisers in here. Yeah, really, I can't fault the tank. It's been awesome, been really, really good. So I suppose start with the bottom, go upwards. So I've been running the Oase Biomaster Thermo on it now for quite some time. Obviously we've ran this filter in the shop on a couple of different aquariums over the sort of last probably 6-8 months, I suppose, and they've always performed really, really well. This is the other Dalmatian, by the way. You'll have seen my other one in most of the videos. This is Minnie. She's my older Dalmatian, and she's not normally bothered by everything, so she's not normally in this. So, but yeah, it's been doing really, really well. I've cleaned the pre-filter out a few times, nothing too major. But yeah, really, it has performed like an absolute dream. So I can't fault that filter on it. It has been great. So as I said earlier, the Castle has been performing so well for me. The plant growth, everything has just really done, yeah, brilliantly. They're mostly low light loving plants in here, so I've got the Castle set a little bit lower than you probably normally would, but in all honesty, they are still thriving under it. And I've had very little melt on a lot of the crypts. You know, I'm sure a few of you are aware of crypt melt, when you put a new crypt plant in there and it just withers away and melts into mush. These guys really haven't done it. I've had a couple that have thrown off a few leaves, but really nothing major. But yeah, this light, you can, I don't know how bright it will be if I adjust that up. It's not too bad. But yeah, it is doing really, really well. And also this Monstera leaf here was pointing out towards the front of the tank, and slowly it's been growing itself and angling itself into that light. So yeah, it's quite funny how it's done that. Really, that's the equipment. Both things, you know, the Oase Biomaster Thermo and the Castle A360 have been amazing. Really can't fault them. I've been running them for a little while now, and they've both been great. So yeah, if you're looking for decent quality stuff, those two are well, a light and a filter definitely to look at. Obviously I've done a review on the Biomaster Thermo. We'll be doing a review on the Castle soon, now that I've sort of got used to it. I've got used to the app. It's very, very easy, but I've just been sort of playing around with the settings and the colour forms just to get the colour that I like. So that's the equipment, that's the boring bit. Let's show you what the tank's doing. So all the plants have settled in really, really well. As I was saying earlier, with that Castle light, with that Castle light, it has done miraculously. Very few of the crypts have melted. This little guy in the front here, and there's one more, I think it might be behind this rock here, I've just put in from another tank, and they really didn't like going in here. Yeah, they sort of sulked quite a lot and melted. But yeah, all the other crypts have done really, really well, and I'm sure they'll settle back in and they'll get going soon enough. We've got the Amazon sword in the front here, and then the group of Amazon swords that went across the back. This one here is just starting to poke its leaf out of the surface there. So yeah, he's just getting there. And then what other crypts did I put in? I think that was all the crypts then. And then we've got this one in this back corner that's a little bit trickier to see, but that's the crinkly leaf crypt, which is Balance. Now that one did come out of my other tank. It's a bit of a jungle back there, see? Now that one was out of my other tank that I'm slowly changing over, so that one will be changed over very, very soon. But yeah, I just liked the way that that sort of came up into and sort of covered that back corner and gave the fish a little bit more hiding spaces, which I'll talk about in a minute with a few of the trials and tribulations we had with the fish, but nothing major. And yeah, really, the Java ferns, you know, you got the 3 Java ferns that we settled in there quite nicely. And yeah, all the other plants have done really, really well. Most of the planting I've actually done above the tank. So I did put on some of these water lettuce, which are doing, yeah, really well. I've actually sort of cleared this off about 3 or 4 times in the course of about 2 weeks. They're growing really, really well. And they're just diffusing the light. You know, I like it if we move some of them across. I just like when you've got that sort of shadow that comes down into the aquarium. I just really like that sort of diffused light look. Obviously the Monstera is doing really, really well. The other thing that I've changed, or not changed, but planted up, is this piece of wood. So that was that piece of wood that was imposing coming out of the top of the aquarium on the left-hand side there. So what we've actually done with that are these are elkhorn ferns, I think they're called. I can't remember the Latin name of them, but yeah, they're elkhorn ferns. So I've actually just attached them and wired them to the piece of wood. I've put some mosses and things in around them just to help keep some moisture in there so that they don't dry out. And then I just spray them. I just spritz them with a little bit of water every now and again. Obviously the Monstera's got his roots in the tank right at the back here. That's a cutting of basil that I just found. Well, I didn't find. I chopped it off of a basil plant and I just popped him in there. And he is, yeah, now rooted really, really well. So we'll see what he does. I think I'm going to do that though. I'll just cut a few plants and yeah, pop them in. Obviously the pothos at the top there hanging down has actually now rooted into this back corner by the filter. So this root now is attached to this suction cup. I tried to get it off the other day so I could move it and I can't. But yeah, so most of the planting actually happened on this side on the wood rather than actually in the tank. Very little extra went into the tank. Now, for the fish have done remarkably well. I say remarkably, I knew they'd do well, but the fish have done really, really well. The Rubrostriatus tetras, which are the ones with the red stripe, they've done immensely. And the different, not personalities, but the different characters that I'm getting out of these fish as well is really cool. So the Rubrostriata actually shoal in a group right round the aquarium on a nightly basis as a big shoal, which is really, really cool to see. So then you've got the little rainbow tetra, which are the little Lacorti. Those little guys have been amazing, and they've actually separated off and gone as a group, well, not as a group, but as 2 or 3 little groups, one male and a couple of females, all dotted around the aquarium. One likes to live over on the left-hand side near the tree stump, and really sort of protects his little area down there. So they've got a little different sort of shoaling mentality. They don't actually sort of shoal around as a group. They sort of break up into groups. And then it's the same as the Corydoras tetras or the Corydoras tetras. Those are doing pretty much the same thing. You get little pockets of them. You'll get 3 or 4 on one side, 3 or 4 on the other. And they are just sort of dotted about all over the aquarium, sort of making out their territory and, yeah, sort of eking out an existence in different areas, which is really, really cool to see. Now, I've not actually put any extra catfish... start again. I've not actually put any extra cleanup crew in here other than the 3 clown plecos that I originally put in here. Now, MD said that was the last time I'd see them. I've seen them at least twice, maybe 3 times in the time that they've been in here. So it's not too bad, I wouldn't have thought. It's they are there somewhere. But yeah, you do see them at feeding time. They are hanging about all over the place. My skunk cories have settled in so well. They are just all over the place and darting around. Oh, this is something that I didn't have in there actually, did I? So I did put some catappa leaves in here. You might have seen in my recent video that the water in here was a little bit browner, but the water was like quite a tanned colour. It was a bit of a test, I suppose. I wanted to see what 5 catappa leaves would do to the aquarium and see how much they would actually impact. So it did go very, very tanned for quite a few days. And then in all honesty, I used some Purigen and some carbon in the filter. And again, within 2 or 3 days, it had stripped all of those colours out of the water and we had this crystal clear look coming back as well, which was really, really nice. So yeah, it was a bit of a test and a bit of a mess around to see how quickly I could strip it back out, sort of thing. And yeah, it seemed to work quite well. But these skunk cories have just settled in so well, and they sort of buzz around as a real big group really, really nicely. They are super, super cool. One of my favourites. I've actually got some stir-by and some, I can't remember now, Similis maybe, in another tank at home. That's the one that's getting stripped down and the Balance came from. So they will probably move over into here eventually, and yeah, have a little bit more of a different group. Now, the other thing that I've put in here, yep, and they've gone, is some South American bumblebee catfish. Now, it was actually my wife who picked these out because she really, really liked them. I've obviously taught her well because she went for a brown catfish that likes to hide a lot. So yeah, she knows exactly which fish to choose when she comes out to the shop with me. I'll try and get a bit of footage of them, but they are much, much harder. But I just like that because they just appear every now and again. They disappear, they reappear, they sort of just skulk about in amongst the plants, and they do just make it a little bit more interesting, to be honest. So really, the next steps for this tank is probably to maybe look at a dwarf cichlid of some description, maybe. I quite like the idea of having maybe a pair or a trio of dwarf cichlids in the bottom, but really can't make my mind up on what those are. There was a few in the shop that I've liked, but yeah, nothing that's really caught my eye yet that's 100%. And really, other than that, that's probably about it. We have got some awesome tetras coming, which are another species that I don't think I've kept before in the shop. I think they're quite a new species that Martin has been able to track down. Actually, there's two species. One's already in the shop, one's on its way. So yeah, I might have to maybe get another little shoal of tetras. I've definitely got space. There's definitely a lot of room. You know, there's more space up in this top section. So if I could maybe get something for that, you know, it'd be nice to put some hatchet fish in there. But yeah, they'll probably end up in my dog's water bowl, to be honest, if I put some hatchet fish in there. So yeah, I think another little shoal maybe in the top reaches, especially now that I've got this floating plant. If something could sort of inhabit that top area, that'd be really, really cool. But yeah, you know, that's sort of where the tank's going to go. I'm going to let it grow in for a little bit longer, see how it goes. I might sort of try out some different plants, maybe get some rarer or some slightly different crypts. I know we've got some nice ones in from Tropica at the moment, so I might pick up a couple of them maybe. And yeah, pull out some of the more common species eventually. But really, I'm really happy with how it's coming along, really happy with how it's growing in. So hope you enjoyed the late night look at my my fish tank. The mic's pointing the wrong way around, so you probably can't hear any of this. So I hope you enjoyed this late night look at my fish tank. Obviously I was just sat there doing nothing, so I thought, why not try and do a video of what's going on in the tank. This is the first one I've done of like a tank. Normally this is MD's department of making all the pretty shots, so I'll try and do my best with, you know, we'll see how it goes. First one I've done. Until next time.